I know that Kristi Noem is a lying liar if her lips are moving, right? But I want to take a second and fact check something that she said earlier, because I'm seeing an awful lot of people who are starting to freak out about the fact that ICE agents who don't know what the fuck they're doing are stopping people in Minnesota and basically saying, papiere bitte, right? Like, papers, you have to show me your papers or else. So she got asked about it, and God bless whatever journalist was willing to ask the question.
Are you okay with federal agents and officers violating people's Fourth Amendment rights by asking for papers without reasonable suspicion?
Every single action that our ICE officers take is according to the law and following protocols that we have used for years, that this administration has used, that the previous administration used.
Bullshit.
They are doing everything correctly, and over again in litigation in the courts, we've proven that they've done the right thing.
Why is it within their right to do that? Why is it within their right to ask for papers without reasonable suspicion?
She's full of shit. They keep losing in the courts over and over because they're violating the law. ICE is routinely, right now in Minnesota in particular, violating the First, Fourth, and 14th Amendment rights of Americans, like on a daily, multiple times a day. These are untrained fail sons who could not get a job in legitimate law enforcement. They are completely ill-equipped. They don't know the law. And Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem and Donald Trump and JD Vance have basically said, like, if you break the law, we'll protect you, right? And this is pretty classic in authoritarian moves, right? Any kind of authoritarian advancement of a regime, they're going to have these goons that work for them, and they're telling them, like, go ahead and break the law. We'll protect you. Except, you know what, ICE fail sons? These guys are not going to be in power much longer, and you will face accountability. You will be the first ones prosecuted. The crimes that you are committing now in Minnesota, in Oregon, in California, around the country, when Donald Trump and Kristi Noem are gone, nobody's going to protect you from the laws that you have broken now. So Kristi Noem just claimed that everything these ICE losers are doing is entirely legal, and the courts have backed it up. Yeah, okay. So let me just give you an example of what they are doing. And there's not enough time in this video to show you example after example after example that I have saved on my phone of interactions that went down just like this one.
An ID you. Do you have an ID on you, ma'am?
I don't need an ID to walk around in my city. This is my
Okay,
city.
do you have
This is
some
my
ID
home.
then, please?
I don't need it.
If not, we're going to put you in the vehicle and we're going to ID you.
I'm going to show you the full clip in a second because this woman knows how to defend her rights, and she is an example of how we should all behave. But before we get into it, so immigrant in Minnesota, ICE comes up to her on the street. There's a number of these guys. There's like 3 or 4 of them, right? Big guys, masked, right? Because they're chicken shit cowards and they won't show their faces. And they demand to see her papers, right? We demand to see your ID. Kristi Noem says everything they're doing is entirely legal and the courts are upholding it. So let me just read to you here from the American Immigration Lawyers Association and also from the NAACP. If ICE stops you in public, you have the right to ask if you are under arrest or if you are free to leave. Do not panic. Do not run away. Ask if you're being arrested or detained. If ICE says no, you can ask if you are free to leave. If they say yes, walk away calmly. If they say no, you're not free to leave, then stay where you are and do not attempt to leave. You have the right to remain silent. You don't have to speak to an immigration officer. Immigration and customs enforcement officers do not have jurisdiction over American citizens. You do not have to answer any questions nor show any documents. If they ask you where you were born or how you entered the United States, you may refuse to answer. You may choose to remain silent. If you're choosing to remain silent, say, I choose to remain silent. Please listen. You are not required to show immigration documents to an ICE agent. You may refuse to show any identity documents that reveal your country or nationality or citizenship. Never show false documents or provide false information. That would be a crime, but you're not required to produce any of that information for them. They don't have reasonable suspicion. They don't have probable cause. This is good advice. Do not claim to be born in the United States if you were not, and do not claim to be a U.S. citizen if you are not one. That would get you charged with lying to a federal officer. You have a right to refuse a search of yourself and your personal belongings unless the officers have probable cause or a signed search warrant. ICE officers cannot search you without your consent unless they have probable cause. You have the right to speak to an attorney. We are hearing over and over again that ICE is denying people access to legal counsel. That is a violation of the law. Do not sign any paperwork that ICE gives you without your lawyer present. This from the NAACP. If you are a United States citizen, you do not have to provide your ID or proof of citizenship. With the exception of driving, you may have to produce your driver's license if that's appropriate, along with registration and proof of insurance. If you are a U.S. citizen, you should say, I am a U.S. citizen. You do not have authority to arrest or detain me. If they decide to arrest you anyway, you have grounds for a federal civil rights lawsuit alleging unconstitutional detention or arrest. Know your rights, y'all. ICE doesn't know your rights, and they are intent on trampling those rights. One of the things I've been trying to talk about today is that you defend your rights by exercising them, right? And that requires that you be well versed in what those rights are. They are seeing how much they can get away with. They are seeing how many of your rights you will willingly submit to them, either knowingly or unknowingly. We must defend our rights calmly, rationally, even if in the moment it feels really scary. You still have your rights. ICE is violating your rights, and they can and will face legal repercussions for what they're doing now. So let me show you the rest of this woman's clip, because this is just a fucking masterclass in how to behave if ICE comes up to you. She knows her rights. She's not giving them an inch. She will not back down. Big, tall, intimidating men are lying to her, demanding that she produce documents or they will put her in the back of a car, like straight up threatening her, and she doesn't back down. This is what courage looks like. And unfortunately, in the United States of America in 2026, this is what it looks like to exercise your rights. In order to maintain and defend them, we must exercise them. We will not hand over our rights to ICE.
I can ID you. Do you have an ID on you, ma'am?
I don't need an ID to walk around in my city. This is my
Okay,
city.
do you have
This is
some
my
ID
home.
then, please?
I don't need an
If
ID.
not, we're going to put you in the vehicle and we're going to ID you.
He can't do that.
Huh?
I'm not going to take out. You take out your ID.
You don't have an ID?
I'm not going to take out an ID.
Hey man,
I am U.S. citizen. I am U.S. citizen.
All right, can we see an ID, please?
I am U.S. citizen. I don't need to carry around an ID in my home.
That's
Well,
right.
This is my home.
Where were you born?
This is my home.
Don't
Where
answer
were
that
you
question.
born?
Minneapolis is my home.
Ma'am, that's not
This
that.
is-
We're
this-
doing an immigration check. We're doing a citizen check.
This is
illegal.
And we're
where
asking you where you were born.
this is where I belong. This is my home.
Ma'am, you
and
can
I,
belong here, but where were you
and
born?
I am not gonna give you an ID.
Then we're going to put you in the vehicle until
I
we can
belong.
ID you.
I belong here. I should be walking around here free. I shouldn't be afraid in my life at this point.
Ma'am, do you have an
You
ID
making
to
me
give
a
us?
skirt? No.
Yes, you're correct.
You making me a scared? You making me a
Do you
panic?
have an ID?
This is my home.
Ma'am, where were you born?
I am U.S. citizen. I am U.S. citizen. And I don't think so you have a right to picture me while I am in my home and walking around in my home. This is not acceptable. You guys, you terrorizing people,
Ma'am,
and it's not
where were
acceptable.
you born?
It doesn't matter where I was born. I belong here. I am U.S. citizen. What else can I say? I am citizen. This is my home.
You realize that if you lie that you're a U.S. citizen,
Minneapolis is my home.
then you can get a
Minneapolis is
federal
my home.
charge.
I belong here. I'm sorry. I belong
Okay.
here. I'm not gonna take out ID. What the fuck?
That's exactly how you do it. That is exactly how you do it. She insisted that she was a U.S. citizen, that she would not comply with their illegal orders. He continued to threaten her. He was hoping to intimidate her into surrendering her rights, and she would not do it. And he knew, by the end, he knew he had no legal right. You notice they didn't put her in the back of the car. They had to turn around and walk away. He was there purely to intimidate her. At one point, she said, "I'm scared." And he said, "I know." They are counting on your fear derailing your ability to maintain your calm and to act logically to uphold your rights. We do not live in a country where masked goons have a right to come up and demand your papers. You do not have to answer their questions. Do not tell them where you were born. Don't lie to them. Likewise, do not hand over any of your rights to these fucking losers. They bluster, they threaten, they intimidate, they loom over you, demanding things they know they do not have a right to. You calmly insist on your rights. You calmly exercise your rights. And at the end of the day, those fucking losers had to leave because they were in the wrong. These guys are all bluff. They are cargo cult fascism. They are trying this desperate clampdown right now where they are trying to scare you into submission. Yeah, they're breaking the law left and right. Yeah, they might hurt you. It doesn't mean that they have a right to. It doesn't mean that that is the future of the United States of America. It is only going to be the future of this country that ICE can run around terrorizing everybody, beating and killing everybody if we hand over our rights, and we're not going to do that. Know your rights and exercise them to defend them.